Update settings for YouTube. Check YouTube. There it is right there. Check YouTube. It seems we are live, people. Anybody with me? There it is right there.
Woohoo!
Ooh, yeah, I'm here.
All right, mute this. And we can just talk if you want. Anybody got a topic to talk about? Anybody want to discuss? We were talking about um, education earlier, the education system.
Let's talk about nightmares.
Oh, nightmares. That's an interesting one. Sure. Go ahead.
Um, how often do you have them? Do they subside with age? Do they intensify with age? Are we living a nightmare? Are we in a nightmare? Wrapped in an enigma? I don't know. I just threw it out there.
Hmm.
I heard some, I don't know if it was actual science or bro science one time, that cannabis inhibits dream or the dream state. And I don't know if it's causal or just correlated, but I haven't had a dream or nightmare since I started daily cannabis use for seizures.
Hmm.
And
I can say the complete opposite of that.
mm,
That is wild.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
somewhere in.
now
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to amend by maybe saying I haven't had a dream or a nightmare in that amount of time that I can remember.
Hmm. So yeah, I was gonna say
Wink,
I'm.
wink.
Sorry.
No, no, that he can remember. Wink, wink.
Gotcha. Yeah, the delay is going to be a big deal here. Anyways, yeah, I'm somewhere between you all. I've definitely got a less of a dream state than I used to, like less frequency of it. I don't have dreams often. I do have them still sometimes. So somewhere in the middle of like maybe cannabis inhibits my dream state, maybe not. That could be a million other things going on in my life that are inhibiting my dream state. I don't really have nightmares anymore per se. I have vivid dreams sometimes that seem like they could comport enough with reality that they almost seem real when you wake up. It's like you have to question yourself, did that actually happen or did that not happen? I'm not certain. um, as far as if we're living a dream, if we're living a nightmare, yeah, possibly. It could be all, it seems like it's all kind of from our perspective, all the same thing. It's how we're perceiving reality, right? And when you're in a dream state, we're still perceiving some form of reality just by being able to reference memory of it or not, or know that you're in a the other interesting thing to think about is that time in which you're not dreaming, like how you can tell you slept and you can tell you slept for a period of time, although your reference gets better when you look at the clock. But it seems both at the same time it was infinitely long and not long at all in a sense, if you will. Like, it's that weird state of I'm not quite sure. It seems like nothing, seemed like something. Anyways, I'll let somebody else talk now.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. Same thing when you go under anesthesia for surgery. Every time I've been down and then woken back up, it feel like maybe 5 minutes had passed and it had been 5 hours. And it's kind of funny how our perception of time when we're unconscious just kind of goes away. Um, I guess it kind of shows that a conscious state is really responsible uh, for all of our experiences. And I wonder what mechanism it is deep inside that gray matter that allows for such a disconnect.
Mm. Yeah. So anesthesia is another interesting one. Like for me, I've only come to know this in my recent past because I didn't have a lot of surgeries or anesthesia when I was younger, prior to, a few years to a decade ago. Um, but they have problems keeping me under. Like tend to wake up in the middle of procedures, and it almost seems to me like I'm semi-conscious, but I'm not fully aware. So I don't perceive time the same way. But it's like if I like one time I popped right off the table. They did something to me and I felt it, and I went boop, and I stood right up off the table, and they're like, oh, "Sir, sir, sir, get back!" Like in the middle of a procedure. Um, and and the thing is, my brain started filling in time of when I went out to when I was awake to when I started to fade back out. So it's almost like I wasn't completely under, in a sense. And that almost could relate to things like people who are in catatonic states who would then wake up like 10, 20, 30 years later and remember a lot of what was actually going on during those times to varying degrees. So that whole thing is really super fascinating, and the unfortunate thing is we just don't have any sure answers, I think.
Yeah, they're very hard to study. Um, Most of the ways that we could study it would either harm or kill the patient, and then study's over. So it's probably best that we don't do that. But yeah, yeah. How would you? I guess you could study it with a functional MRI, but even that over long term has its delirious, or no, that's not the word I was looking for. Detrimental effects.
You know what I say, and you know what a lot of people say. A lot of people say this. A lot of people say that that you gotta break a few eggs when you're cooking. There's some affordable, accountable losses. We don't need to care.
Right.
Sorry, doing a really bad Trump impression there. We need Thomas. Uh,
Desperately need Thomas.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, acceptable losses, I don't know. Is that a thing? I mean, it seems like we've had acceptable losses in the past in various experimentation. Um, but yeah,
True.
I don't vie for it. I don't even vie for it for
No.
animals. I don't even like to, playing with animals' lives for the benefit of humans. It just seems torturous and cruel to me. And I think there are probably other ways we could learn some stuff, but maybe it there is this is it. I don't know. Maybe we've just started to reach the point where we don't need animals as much, but we're still stuck on using animals for testing. Um, I don't know. That goes into a whole other
It,
topic, though, of beyond dreams of what is the value of life and is it equal beyond all species? Yeah, among all species and all that. But maybe that's another topic for another day.
that could be a good life.
So, yeah, sometimes I wake up like my father died when I was young, and sometimes I wake up and I think he's still alive, and I have a hard time distinguishing whether my dream state made it seem that way or I was mistaken from the past or you know varying degrees of lucidity, I guess. Kyle, anything to say? You've been quiet for a little while. Just listening in, still driving. I know that. So, Cody, you still with us, or you don't feel like talking? I'll take that as a Coda doesn't want to talk either, at least right now. So,
Yeah, I had been monopolizing the conversation, so I thought I'd mute for a minute and let someone else speak.
well, I'm terrible at carrying conversation. So, but actually, there are things that I could talk about that I was thinking, because anybody who is actually potentially watching might have the same confusion I encounter often, and it is, what is the purpose of this channel? What am I trying to do here? What's the reference to Jeet Kune Do, if even people pick up that on that reference? And I've spent a lot of time thinking about how to present that information. Um, so yeah, I thought maybe I could just run down quickly what I'm trying to do here. And this is obviously just a test of going live and, testing a mechanism for presentation, working through any technical difficulties, etc. Um, but I started off the channel about a year ago, and I had intentions, but those intentions I set up a lot of sort of barriers and goals to me to achieve before I would actually get to different types of content. And um, so I started off with some simple tests, and I threw out a pet video of our bearded dragon, and it did really well. And I had known this because I had heard that pets do really well on streaming. So it was kind of like, let's take advantage by getting the channel off the ground by stuff that's really easy to put out there, and really easy to get people to adopt and watch. And it turned out to be true. As long as I kept producing animal videos, people kept watching to varying degrees. And the oddness between what was popular and what wasn't was really interesting. Um, but of course, that wasn't really the full purpose of this channel. I really want to get into interviews and discussions, and I like academic content, though I'm technically not an academic. I like to talk about things. I'd love to have some academics on here and have some discussions with them, and that would be really fun. Um, so once again, I set myself a lot of goals and boundaries and barriers to get over. So this is my attempt to just get over all them and put myself out there. I did intend Jikun Show to be a variety show where I could pretty much offer any content that my heart desired, including if anybody else wanted to join me in my theme and make their own content and present it through this theme. I'd love to accept people to do that as well. I'd like to make it a community, and I never really wanted it to be about me. That's why I never really put my face on a lot of stuff. But I do want to be an active participant, and I'm not afraid to put my face out there. Um, Plus, the animals do sort of coincide with the theme, which is I also like to spread joy, and I think animals spread joy, and we need a lot of that today in all the political upheaval going on around the world. Um, so I hope people can at least extract that from it. The animals are here too, so if I ever need to integrate the animals in, I can just grab them and say, "Here, look, there he is, there she is." So, does that make sense to any of y'all? Anything to say?
I think it's a great idea. I think it might have even been what YouTube was trying to go for, and maybe went in a different direction once it got larger and maybe harder to maintain something like that. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm happy to be a part of it. Glad to even be just here to help you test things out.
Yeah, you've been fantastic today. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't have gotten to this point uh, were it not you helping me find a good makeup software to make up for a different bad choice. Um, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help. You have a channel, Don. Do you wanna do you wanna promote your channel?
Yeah, I've been making content now for the Don at Pangburn Universe now for I guess about a month. I think I've got only about 7 videos up, but they're doing pretty well. Um, Still brand new, still trying to kind of find myself as to What I'm going to put up there, I've been doing mostly religious and political content. Those are kind of my wheelhouses, but I really like the idea of a community and having guest creators or even people who want to be a part of it full time, just not me, and that sounds like a great idea. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
we both to give another well, you already kind of did it, but let's, to be overt about it, Pangburn Universe is another place that you and I both came from and heavily support. Um, it's a good environment. It's been an inspiration for me to start my stuff, and I think you also said it was an inspiration to you. So we appreciate Pangburn Universe for that.
we do. That's where all my content is I was approached to make videos for them. And so that's what I've been doing. I don't have any content on my own channel at all. And so I pretty much just do it for there. But I kind of, and I think that the owner of that channel would be happy to integrate with other well meaning and well meaning channels with good ideas uh, who want to be helpful.
Yeah.
And that's what I see a lot out of here is you guys have some good ideas, you have some very interesting discussions, and some really cute pets.
Thank you. I will, for everybody, anybody who's listening, if anybody listens to this, I will post Don's channel and Pangburn down in the description after we're done this broadcast. Um, so yes, that's pretty awesome. I am also planning on doing things like getting an intro video for people who first subscribe and kind of go through and talk about what I just did about what the purpose of the channel was and everything. Do the full assets, but once again, this is just my way to get over those barriers and just start doing it and learning by making mistakes. That just seems sometimes to be the best way to do it. I also have a live channel, a live broadcast going on tonight. I'm doing my first sort of interview discussion with a person that I met online. They do their own content streaming. Um, so that would be that. Um, I think I'm going to call it at that. I want to go back and test all this. I want to see how it sounds, see if I need to make any changes or adjustments in the whole process. But, anyways, anybody who did sign in, anybody who signs in the future, thank you for listening. And I hope to see you around when we present more content, more discussions. So take care, everyone.